I had trouble finding somebody to introduce our main speakers today. I asked around and nobody seemed to know these guys. But I heard they have a relative in the club who might be able to say something nice about them. Seriously, I'm pleased to welcome our member, Lisa Bridge, to introduce our main speakers. Now a 3-year member of the Ben Bridge Jewelers team, Lisa is an experienced gemologist in her own right with a graduate gemologist degree from the Gemological Institute of America in Carlsbad. She also holds a bachelor's degree from Washington University. That's the one in St. Louis. In her current role, Lisa is responsible for the training of over 750 sales associates throughout the stores. Please welcome Lisa Bridge.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you all for your beautiful birthday song. What a great surprise that was. And I'd first like to thank those of you who are attending to support Herb, John, and myself, Bob Bridge, co-chairman, Pam Bridge, my mother, Ed Bridge, also father but president and co-CEO, Orly Solomon, who has been with the company for over 50 years and is a legend, Peter Leplow, Vice President of Merchandising, Steve DeVolt, Vice President of Marketing, Jerry Gronfine, CFO, Ricardo Guerrero, Assistant Manager of our downtown store, John Maeda, the manager of our downtown store, Karen Lee, manager of our University Village store, and Phil Fost, who's our watchmaker in downtown, although he's not a visitor, I suppose. He's always around. It is this extended family that has made Ben Bridge last 100 years.
You forgot your brother.
Oh, I forgot my brother. Mark Bridge, Associate General Counsel for the company. Yeah.
You know, everybody wants to forget lawyers. That's the problem.
This one I'd like to keep around. This one's a good one. 100 years. Rather amazing. 100 years in Seattle, even more impressive. But 100 years in one family, I think that's quite rare. Although it seems pretty normal to me, as that's all I've ever known. I'm Lisa Bridge, 5th generation in the business and in charge of our training and education. This holiday season, Ben Bridge is going to start celebrating our 100th anniversary, and we want all of you to be part of that celebration. What's the secret to lasting a century? I believe it's continued values, beliefs, and principles throughout the years, but with the flexibility to change to fit with the times. Something that has always impressed me was the way each successive generation in our family has been willing to hand over the keys to the business relatively early on in their lives and to allow the next generation of leaders to shape the company further. To share a little bit about our history and our impending celebration, I invite you to take a look at the celebration to be.
You know, actually, things are working really well. We didn't have the screen, we didn't have the projector to start with, but now we're almost ready to go, and I'm going to turn it over to my dad with trepidation, and he's going to do his. Are you ready?
Maybe.
Well, let's let Herb talk.
All right.
Thank you, John. He's always so respectful. Ben Bridge was a loving, trusting father to Bob and me. We were part of the family store, and we learned how to sweep the place out, how to polish silver, how to do all those important things, and grew up in the business, of course. Dad was a Navy man. He'd been in combat in World War I, and he stayed active in the reserve after World War I. So it was quite natural that John, Bob, and I not only went into the Navy, but we stayed in the reserve until the Navy decided to kick us out at the age of 60. 60 was a mandatory. John, this fellow that introduced me, he spent a lot of time complaining about the reserve duties he had and all, and long after I told him, you know, you have enough time to retire, he started grumbling. He just has to complain. And he stayed in until he was 60, and then put in for an extension. I don't understand our kids too well. I was aboard ship in 1943, March of 1943, when I had my 18th birthday. And Dad sent a letter, Herb, you are now 1/4 owner of the store. And that carried with it a lot of responsibility, but no pay or anything like that. 6 years later, brother Bob, put your hand up, Bob. 6 years later, my little brother got his quarter share of the business. So together we owned half the store. That is not to believe that we had half say or any say, because Dad was a very good jeweler. He was a very wonderful businessman, but he was a micromanager, and there wasn't anything we could suggest that he couldn't reply. We tried that in 1935 and it didn't work. So those of you that have grown up with a dad like that, you know exactly what I mean. Well, I got increasingly frustrated and went to Shirley and said, I'd like to leave and find out how we could expand our business beyond the one store. And Shirley, to her everlasting credit, said, I can get a job as a pharmacist wherever you go. And like the biblical Ruth, she said, I will follow you. Well, I told Dad that I was leaving as of the 1st of January 1955, and we made preparations to go. I was given the managership of 3 stores in the Denver area, and looking forward to the education of how Bob and I could expand the business. Well, Dad had a meeting with Bob, his wife Bobby. We have a couple Bobbies in the family. There's John's wife, the Justice Bobby, and then Bob's wife, another Bobby. Bob and Bobby were there. Shirley and I were there, and Mom. And Dad said, Herb, you're not leaving the business. I am leaving. And January 1st, 1955, he walked out of the business, leaving himself completely responsible for a 29-year-old and a 23-year-old couple of kids with his and Mother's future in their hands. Dad, how will we pay you? He said, you get together with the accountant. I know you two will do the right thing. And of course, we started growing the business, but very, very cautiously with that kind of concern that we had. Cautious, definitely. Meantime, wonderful, wonderful advisor, Rotarian, Ken Schubert, gave us some directions. And one of the things was that we gave together, Bob and Bobby and Shirley and I had together, there 2 kids, 2 boys from my family and 3 from his. We started giving the kids stock in the store. And it kept on doing that to the maximum that we could give them stock. In the meantime, Bob and my stock was frozen at that price, which it stayed right up until our sale. So they benefited from our expansion completely. I can't say that Bob and I did at that point, but they've taken good care of us anyhow. Ed and John decided some 11 years ago, we'd already expanded, had probably 70 stores in 11 states, and Bob and I had been giving the kids shares in the business, and which had increased as the years went by. Well, they decided they'd like to commission an appraisal of the business to see what the business really was worth. When they got that appraisal, they decided, let's put this business up for sale. We'll find out if it really is worth that. It's one way to prove it or not prove it. And we did get some people nationally that were very interested in our company. But we knew that if we sold to any of these other people, that the headquarters, which is a nerve center and all, buying and everything like that, in Seattle would move, because these people always, in the names of efficiency, move things around and mess it up. And the loyal and wonderful people that we had would not be secure in the business that they had built. So Bob had and has a good friend that his company had sold out to Berkshire Hathaway, and the friend said, can I send that appraisal over to Warren Buffett? Which Bob ascended, and of course, within a matter of days, Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway had concluded a deal with us. And because this is a kind of a business that Warren Buffett likes, where management is in place, management is strong and in place, and the people that are in management love their business but don't have any of the financial worries, really, of capitalizing their business further. So that took place. We asked Warren, when do you want us to do due diligence? Well, this will amaze each of you, I'm sure. He said, you're not going to do due diligence. We don't need that. I know what I'm buying, and there's no requirement that we do due diligence, waste the time doing that. That's the kind of an outfit that we have been affiliated with. One last thing that I'd like to say is that the boys, Ed and John, our co-CEOs, came to their fathers and said, you know what we want to do? We want to set aside $9 million of the purchase price to divide among the people in the company, because we know who has built the worth of this company. And they had it figured out. They'd formularized it to where the amounts of that would depend on seniority and depend on the salaries that they were getting. But they set that aside, and of course they're a lot smarter than their parents, because if we'd have ever thought of that, Bob and I, we would probably paid it all at once. They didn't. They said we'll pay a third of that as soon as the sale is consummated. The next third we'll pay on the first year anniversary, and the last third on the second year anniversary. Put up your hands if you think anybody left the company. I just have to say one thing. Dad was pretty doggone determined to make the jewelry business, Bob's and my career. Nothing could have been better for us. We've had a career in the business where we have been able to participate in the very, very best things that happen to people in their lifetimes, where it's a happy business. It's a very gratifying one. Dad, you really did a good job for us.
Ben Bridge Jeweler, the partner of choice for a century. In the coming months, Ben Bridge will begin celebrating a milestone that few companies ever achieve, the 100th anniversary.
The 100th anniversary is really something special. We've been part of customers' lives throughout all that time period. We see people at happy moments in their lives, the birth of a child, engagements, weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, and we get to be part of that.
The 100th is a very exciting occasion, and we're thrilled to be able to celebrate it. We've been looking to 100 years for a long time. Every time you get to, 85, 90, 95, you start thinking about the 100th.
We're going to celebrate the family, we're going to celebrate the tradition, we're going to celebrate all the terrific people who have helped us get to this point, and we use that as the foundation for where we go in the future.
It was really Ben's father-in-law that started the business 100 years ago. And he was a watchmaker, so he had a little watch shop. And that picture has an optician sharing space with my great-grandfather, because crystals on watches were formed in the same way as the crystal on a glass. And that's how we started out.
My grandfather came to my school to come in and talk about gemstones, and that's what really got me interested in the family company. Literally one test away from becoming a certified gemologist.
My grandfather then came into the business and expanded it into a full-line jewelry operation, but one store.
We have about 70 stores in 11 western states. We reach from Minneapolis in the east to Honolulu in the west and Anchorage to Houston.
Ben Bridge credits this lasting success to the strength of partnerships it's developed over the years.
The cornerstone of the business is long-term relationships. We want that with our customers, we want that with our associates, and we want that with our suppliers.
By working with outstanding companies that offer unique and high-quality merchandise, Ben Bridge has grown to be the premier fine jeweler in the western United States. But what exactly makes Ben Bridge the best partner?
We want our suppliers to be part of our success and our growth.
We can't expect that our vendors are going to care for us unless we care for them.
There is a depth of trust and intimacy there that I think you don't find in other businesses.
Not only has Ben Bridge become synonymous with high-quality merchandise, it's been equally well known as a stalwart of business ethics and community involvement.
Please welcome John Bridge to the stage, who donated these three incredible pieces. Give it up for John.
Our business has actually been able to be a vehicle for us, for our whole family, to give back to the community.
Herb, my great uncle, has a saying on his desk that says that service is the price we pay for the space we occupy on earth. And it's more than a quote, it is very much a family value.
Now I'm the national chair of Jewelers for Children. It's our industry charity. It's something I'm very proud of. We started 11 years ago. We've given $37 million away in that time period.
I'm founder of the Alliance for Education here in Seattle. It actually has raised close to $150 million since its inception.
The sense of community that exists inside Ben Bridge is equally exceptional.
That comes through every part of our company. We have a lot of managers and associates who are members of Rotary, and within the office and in the stores we're involved in countless charity organizations.
And while Ben Bridge has a century of history to be proud of, we're not just looking back. We're leaping forward with new energy and excitement in every aspect of our marketing and merchandising.
This year, in our 100th year, we're going to have unparalleled opportunities for partnering with our vendors to kind of engage customers in a new way, to be part of this great celebration where we're going to go out and get millions of impressions across all the different media.
At the heart of the campaign are the timeless Forever Moments holiday television ads that literally stop time and capture the true emotion that only a gift of fine jewelry can create. Each romantic moment is connected seamlessly to stunning jewelry and fine timepieces captured in all their beauty, with exquisite cinematography showcasing the beauty, craftsmanship, and value of Ben Bridge merchandise in striking fashion. The customers will enter Ben Bridge stores and ask specifically for the products featured in the commercials. Ben Bridge has been adding to the buzz with exciting news and events, like the new boutique stores in Seattle's University Village and the fabulous store in Santa Monica Place, bringing a new emphasis to engagement and bridal jewelry, along with 2 Pandora outlets in the Seattle area.
You can actually be really creative with your jewelry. You can pick and choose the different elements and put them together however you want.
In addition, we've introduced Flawless, a signature fragrance that captures the brilliance of a diamond.
The bottle looks like a diamond, and the cap is cut like our Ben Bridge signature diamond. Opens like a ring box. And it's just beautiful.
Marketing success is assured by Ben Bridge's premier locations. Our highly visible city center locations ensure that Ben Bridge merchandise reaches the upwardly mobile professional. And while our high-traffic mall stores are located on open corner locations designed to invite the casual shopper, the quality of our sales associates helps turn passers-by into lifelong customers. Of course, none of our success would be possible without having the best selection of high-quality and unique merchandise in diamonds, gold, gemstones, fashion, and the most sought-after names and fine timepieces, all beautifully displayed in our bright, contemporary, and welcoming stores. To be included in the Ben Bridge selection of merchandise is a statement of quality in itself. It takes a truly special company to reach a milestone this significant. 5 generations of the Bridge family have continued the legacy that was established a century ago, providing the best products, the best buying experience, and the best follow-up care in the jewelry business. That's why Ben Bridge customers have come back again and again, decade after decade, for 100 years. Our celebration is a once-in-a-century opportunity to commemorate our rich history and usher in an even brighter future.
The joy of the retail business is that we get a report card every day about how well we're doing, and so we can't rest on our laurels, and we don't.
We invite you to join us for what promises to be one of the most remarkable years in Ben Bridge history, with partners new and old and exciting new opportunities for success.
And we've been lucky enough to be around for now going on 5 generations. And if we continue to evolve and grow and take care of customers and be part of special moments in their lives and fulfill their needs, we'll be around for another 100 years.
Thank you for sharing this time with us. We look forward to a joyful and prosperous holiday season from your personal jeweler. Ben Bridge, the partner of choice for a century.
The video was the brainchild of Steve DeVolt, who is our marketing vice president, who was introduced a little earlier. And, you know, this video gives you a little bit of background about the company and where we're going in our celebration of 100 years in existence. You know, I can't really claim, I usually claim when I start talking like this that I really look good for 100 years, but when I got my father here, that would really throw us all off. But anyway, we use this video in a number of different ways to present to our suppliers and manufacturers, to share with our associates in the company, to introduce Ben Bridge to the community like we're doing here with you here in our Rotary Club. And I use it in my lease negotiations with our many landlords, some of whom are around our neck of the woods here. Communication with everyone is part of Ben Bridge's longevity in the marketplace. You know, there are many keys to the success in maintaining a family-run business for a whole century. But all of those keys lead back to our people and our true partnership with all of our people. An effort by all of us in the company resulted many years ago in establishing our company credo, our basis for existence, which we've memorialized in all of our planning and our dealings. It's the foundation upon which we built the business, and I just want to share that with you. There are 5 points to it. The first point is that we believe our company's success is in direct proportion to the service we perform for our customers and our community. Secondly, we believe in and respect the individual integrity, the personal rights, and the dignity of each individual working in our organization. Number 3 is we believe the cornerstones of our organization are based on truth and honesty in all our dealings with all our suppliers as well as with all of our associates and our customers. We believe in providing equal opportunities to all our associates for personal growth and development, and we expect each member of our organization to strive for that excellence in accomplishing our daily tasks and long-term goals. We believe that each of us is interdependent and that by living the Golden Rule we can build goodwill, lasting friendships, and provide benefits to everyone. We also believe that in conjunction with the Golden Rule that while we must be for ourselves first, we cannot be for ourselves alone. Now when I talk about this with all of our people, and we all talk about it from the day that you become an associate at Benbridge. I always supplement this credo by the use of my favorite word in the English language, and some of you around here, certainly the people that work in our company, have heard me talk about this, and they're probably dying on the spot. It's the one that I bring up when I sit in the nonprofit boards that I'm on, and also in the classroom when I teach our midshipmen at the NROTC unit at the University of Washington, and that's the word empathy. I figure that if we constantly remind ourselves to put ourselves in the other person's spot before we make decisions, before we determine various things, and most importantly, before we open our mouths, it's probably one of my big faults, according to my wife. She keeps telling me I'm probably the least empathetic person around, but that's what happens in a marriage, and luckily it's lasted for 33 years. If we do follow that empathetic example, we're going to be better leaders. We're going to be better bosses, and we're going to be better family members. Understanding our customers' wants, their desires in a non-threatening way promotes our goal of having customers for life. That's one of the themes that we've always had in our company, is having customers for life. A theme that's brought us multi-generations of customers and has allowed us to be in existence for 5 generations of our family, and we hope for many more. Unlike most retailers, Benbridge has succeeded in having a remarkable record of longevity, our low turnover in our personnel, which is almost unheard of in the retail business. We believe in and we practice promotion from within. Every one of our store managers, that's every one of our store managers, and our sales vice presidents, in addition to Herb and his brother Bob, Ed, and myself, started working in the business on the sales floor. Actually, I didn't start on the sales floor. I started out by cleaning out the bathroom, something I still manage to do when I visit our stores. And you'd think that after all these years and even going to law school that I'd graduate to a different calling. But I am talking here today, and I do get into a suit every once in a while. We believe strongly in education, as shown by what Lisa has done, in independent education for our sales associates, not just our internal education of our associates, but we pay for people to get graduate degrees from the Gemological Institute of America, as well as the American Gem Society, independent organizations that actually have degrees that are known throughout the world as having value within the jewelry industry. Our watchmakers are also trained through Switzerland and our very own North Seattle Community College. Have to give them a plug, because North Seattle Community College has one of the 3 watchmaking schools in this country, and we, along with the Rolex company, have helped fund this watchmaking school. That's really quite remarkable. And just today we heard and Todd brought it up so well, that we are talking about Vocational Education Month within Rotary. What better vocational education than to provide that to our community, to our students at our own very, very own North Seattle Community College. We also know that in our business that nepotism is not a bad word. Clearly, you're seeing bridges coming all over the place here. But it's not just us. It's the Luplows, it's the Halls, it's the Mosers, and many, many others. We are truly among our 800-plus associates family and believe in that. While many family-run organizations fail because the older generation tends to hang on, we have a long tradition of knowing when to step aside, at least I hope so, and let the wiser generation take hold. Ed and I are doing that right now with our daughters Lisa and Rebecca and Ed's son Mark. We've had a great example of that from our fathers, from Herb and Bob, who each retired except for asking for, when we ask for their advice, which we do quite a bit. They retired when they reached their early 60s. And their father, Ben, retired, of course, as you heard, at the age of 59, way back in 1955, which clearly was unheard of in those days. Nevertheless, we do depend upon the historical assistance of that older generation, and even though with trepidation I was standing at the edge of the stairs while Herb was talking, he did a fine job of talking about our business. Of course, his name tag also says Rear Admiral on it. You know, the business today is coming first, not the Navy. We'll give the Navy some credit too, though. At this particular point, I want to thank you all for the attention that you've given Herb and me. And before we close, I'm going to turn the whole podium over to our new generation, our younger generation, for a little bit more information about Ben Bridge. Lisa, why don't you come up?
Thanks, John. As Herb mentioned, I believe he mentioned, that Ben became very involved in the community, and this seems to have become a family tradition as Herb, John, and the rest of the family have followed in his footsteps. Through participation, leadership, and philanthropy, the Associates of Ben Bridge have been active participants in the community. The first thing we do when opening a new store is to get involved in the new community. We want to be the local jeweler wherever we have a store. The key to a new store's success is the manager and associates being involved in some part of the community, whether religious, business, or cultural. In fact, we strongly encourage our managers to be members of Rotary and emphasize this in our interviewing process. Our philanthropic involvement has been on both large and small scales. For example, Herb and John ran the United Way campaign here in Seattle a few years back, raising millions of dollars. While it's not reasonable to expect all of our associates to be able to contribute in this way, we have encouraged the habit of regular giving. All of our office associates are encouraged to participate through weekly dress-down days, where they gain the privilege to dress down on Fridays by donating to the charity of the week. As Mark quoted earlier in the video, Herb has always said that service is the rent we pay for the space we occupy on Earth. This philosophy is characteristic of the value Ben Bridge places on community involvement. The final distinguishing trait of Ben Bridge is our merchandise. While exactly what is in our cases has changed throughout the years, everything from typewriters to timepieces, we have remained consistent in our goals. The three core principles that we think about when buying are quality, value, and differentiation. It is our goal to have customers for a lifetime, so our jewelry needs to be of a quality that lasts just as long. We have one of the toughest, if not the toughest, quality control departments in the industry. Our vendors all have stories about pieces that we have rejected that they believe should have been accepted. But ultimately, it's our name on the door, and we have to be able to stand behind the merchandise we sell. We also don't want to look like anyone else. We want our merchandise to be distinctive. Our 5 buyers scour the world for unique jewelry and fine timepieces. We want to carry the top brands, but also to have our own unique flair to our merchandise. To achieve these goals, we do a few things differently than most. We travel to find the best merchandise to put in our stores. We will go wherever we can to find the latest fashions, the latest techniques, and the greatest expertise, whether it's Torre del Greco, Italy for cameos, Mumbai for diamonds, or Geneva for fine timepieces. We meet manufacturers who may not visit the United States, that we would never know about except for traveling. Or even if they do travel to the U.S., they often have different lines for different parts of the world. So we might miss out on a fashion-forward piece that's in their European line if we stayed local. Another advantage to buying directly from the manufacturer is that we know exactly who we're dealing with. We can visit their factory and do on each trip, and they can get to know our standards. The value of people is applicable here too. We have very strong relationships with our vendors, some even spanning multiple generations. We have lasted 100 years because our values have remained the same. We want to serve our customer for a lifetime. Our 3 guideposts have been care for our people, service to our community, and quality merchandise. We continue into the 2nd century with the knowledge and experience that have brought us here, but with hopes, ideas, and inspiration for the future.
We are so appreciative of the opportunity to share a bit of our history with you. And Herb, John, and myself would be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Hi, Bob.
I have a question for Herb.
That means Herb has to come up here.
Well, maybe Herb could tell you the answer. Herb, I understand that Warren Buffett had a Timex watch when he bought your company.
Upon making that sale, we changed his Timex to a Rolex President. And Bob and I had to pay for it.
Hi, Herb. Norm Johnson. At Social
Norm,
Service.
welcome to Rotary. He's been
Thank
a
you for
member for
rubbing it
years
in.
and he hasn't ever showed up.
Okay, now that I've shown up, I have a question for you. I know what you do at social service agencies when they have their annual meetings or their fundraisers. So I'd like to know under which of these chairs is the diamond?
I won't miss you if you don't come again.
Paul? Great history of success. What's a mistake you made where you learned a great lesson?
What mistake?
Yeah. Do you have a mistake?
They don't think they made a mistake.
Turning your business over to us, right? No.
Admirals don't make mistakes.
Here's another admiral, Bill.
Herb, I know that you don't make mistakes. Why don't you tell us your opinion about opening a store in Ala Moana Center?
Oh, God.
It wasn't you.
I know. My brother and I we had a wonderful relationship throughout the whole our business time. Never really having arguments or anything, but we did have a difference of opinion. He wanted to go and put a store in Ala Moana. And with experience that I had in Hawaii and the Navy and so forth, it was kind of a cyclical place. I didn't want to go to Hawaii. I wanted to go to Anchorage. Well, we finally compromised and we went both places. I have to tell you that Ala Moana store is marvelous.
Our Anchorage store is pretty good too, but nothing is in comparison to that Ala Moana store, and we thank Bob every single day.
I was in New York about 3 weeks ago having dinner with a fellow who's a board member on 3 Fortune 500 companies. His sole purpose on as a member of those 3 boards is to reduce costs. And he's doing that by eliminating health care and other things and taking businesses offshore. What I heard was a fundamentally different approach to running a business from that. I wonder if you might comment on that.
Well, that's a perfect one for me. The responsibility of business today, if we want to have good long-term business, is to care about our people. And caring about our people means we do have health care. And we don't just look at the bottom line, because the bottom line is going to reflect, honestly, it will reflect doing good things for our people in the long run. Whoever was sitting on that board or those boards is doing a disservice to all of the 3 companies that he sits on those boards for. Because in the long term, those companies are not going to be successful, because they will have no loyalty of their customers, and they are not doing any good to our people here in this country.
Here's Beth. Hi, Herb.
You've done so much for this community. Give us the most challenging volunteer experience you've ever had.
Oh, it has to be Seafair.
Was that in Seafair? I really, it's just one wonderful time after another. I didn't emphasize the fact that when Dad walked away from the business, leaving these two kids, their future, my mom and Dad's house, even in our care. Immediately, John did touch on it. A 58-year-old man was let loose on the community to do the things he always had wanted to do but couldn't get out of the store to do, which was community leadership. And the whole idea of seeing Mom and Dad in a gratifying leadership role in the community, and then having a good time for over 10 years before Mom unfortunately passed away. For over 10 years they lived a great life. It was the best years of their life. And I think Bob and I, looking, and also the kids, the grandchildren, seeing them, they set a wonderful example for us and made life very gratifying for us. We didn't cost them their home, thank goodness. We did move very cautiously, though, because we knew we had a responsibility that was certainly beyond us.
Seattle Rotary Online is made possible in part by a grant from First Choice Health, working with the Washington Health Information Collaborative to use technology to bring better health care to patients throughout the Pacific Northwest. First Choice Health.